Good morning, everybody. This is John Scarborough. I wanted to do a little bit of talking today about hay and covering hay on bad soil and things like that. Saving money with the hay that you have. And the way you do that, obviously when you buy hay, there's several different ways to save money on hay. And of course, one is stockpile, and that's something we've experimented with a lot here in the South. And I've got plenty of videos on that. But one really good way is to actually just increase what you get out of the hay. And that's what I really want to talk about today is, you can see here, this is a little spot. It's probably about a half acre. I'm gonna rotate around. We got a real wet spot down in there. Rotate here. This is probably about a half acre of land here. And what I actually did was I unrolled 4 bales in here, different spots all throughout. I let them graze it, and underneath the hay, as I unrolled it, underneath it I actually had my wife sprinkling in front of me, and we were throwing out a mixture of seed. We threw out some clover, we threw out some sunflower seed, we threw out a couple of different brassicas as well, and I don't remember everything we threw out for sure, but the clover and the sunflower was the two I was most concerned about. We're still early enough in the spring that we should be able to grow some sunflower, okay? So, no, I meant to grow some clover, okay? So I'm hoping to get a flush of clover, at least some. It may not come to seed, but it should at least come up enough to get the nitrogen benefit from it, okay? And then after that, we'll have the sunflower, and the sunflower will actually be a good summer crop. So why did I do that in this area? Well, this area, this little half acre here, a lot of y'all know, if you'll go back in my other videos, y'all saw I did a lot of cover crop cropping on our property. Well, this was a portion of it. We're right over here close to the road, and this was the portion of our property that not a whole lot of good happened here. And I think there's a couple reasons for it. One is the clay is worse in this spot than any of the other places that we cropped, okay? Our land, we got about probably a little over half of it is good quality soil, and then the rest of it is a lot of really dense clay on our specific piece of land. Most of the lease property we run is actually all clay. But we were fortunate over here to actually have a lot of land on that side of the creek is some really good topsoil, and that's really good down in our area. You don't find that just a lot, but it's good sandy ground, and it's rich sandy ground. It's not just that white sand. It's a good rich dark color, okay? But so this spot, the other thing I think is not going for this spot is we've actually got 2 pipelines that run right through here. Technically a third one to the well, to the small well. So there's 3 spots through here, and the pipelines have actually come through and sprayed this a lot through here. And so I really think, in fact, I don't know if you can see that dead spot just through the trees over there. That is where they have sprayed that so heavy it just doesn't grow anything. I think there should be a law against that. You should not, it should be illegal for the pipeline to have the right to spray your property without your permission. And maybe it is, I don't know. I'd like to find out more about the laws on that. But I don't think that that should be allowed. You should be able to have control of your land and tell them, you know, they've got the right of way here, but they shouldn't be able to just spray it and kill everything that's there. I don't think that that's good. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later. But the point is, there's several things that are going here that's making this part not so healthy. But the hill over there seems to be doing better. I think that's been sprayed equally. It just doesn't have the clay. It's good sandy ground, so it's been able to compete better. But this over here has got everything against it. So anyway, long story short, we unrolled those bales. We put the sunflower underneath, so hopefully there will be some good forage in this little half acre for the cattle coming through here. And I'm thinking about I'm actually thinking about bringing some chickens through here and letting them feed on that sunflower, and then letting them inoculate it with their own manure, and that'll just really help the soil. But we also unrolled the hay, and we didn't unroll the normal hay that we normally get. We normally get Bermuda grass here, or Bermuda grass hay is what I mean. But the Bermuda grass hay that we've been buying is actually, I think it's a hybrid, so you can only sprig it. You can't seed it. So you can get some growth from the sprigging when you unroll the hay. You can get some growth. You will get some, but you won't get a lot, okay? But we went ahead and opted for Bahia grass. We got some Bahia bales. They're not quite as quality as forage or as hay. It's not quite as good hay for the cattle, but we went ahead and went with that. We were able to buy the bales for fairly cheap, actually, because we're right at the end of this. We're at the end of the season. We actually didn't even need to feed the hay, but I've got other videos on that. You can go watch the other videos. Just incidentally, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. We put out a lot of really good videos. I think they're good videos. Y'all give me your comments on it and your feedback. But we try to put out really good content of lots of different things. We talk about making a living on the farm, and about how to make the farm better, and about regenerative ranching. But it's really an all-around making money at home is what the channel is about. But then we go into how we're doing that as well, details on how we do it. But anyway, back to the subject, the hay. So we unrolled the hay that was full of its own seed so that we can seed this place with the Bahia grass, but we also put the other hay and the other seed up underneath it. Now that's experimental. I know that unrolling the hay with the seed in it works really well. There's a lot of other people that's done it, and I've done it myself. You unroll that, it's full of seed, and you can actually reseed your pasture that way. But something that I have not experimented with is putting other seeds underneath the unrolled hay. So that's something we did here. So then after unrolling the bale, and the cows did their thing, they ate what they wanted. They didn't eat a lot of it because it was older hay. Like I said, it was kind of half junk hay, and that's why I got a really good price on it. But they ate some of it. They pooped and peed all over it, slept in it and everything. We actually did something we don't normally do. We left them in this area for 3 full days. There's a half acre here, but there was another, there's probably total, there was about maybe 2.5 acres total that we gave them. So they had more area to go into, but we started off putting hot wire up, let them have 1 full day in this half acre. Okay, then we opened up that hot wire where they could have that whole spot. We don't normally do that, but we wanted to give them, we wanted to really increase the impact here. And so the one reason why we got away with that is the quality of the forage was already bad enough in this spot. We didn't really have to worry about overgrazing because it was already bad anyway. So they did overgraze a little bit, but I think in this area they didn't overgraze over there. But I think the benefit we'll get from it will be worth the little bit of negative from the overgrazing. Anyway, we'll see. Y'all keep y'all's eye open for the other videos. We're going to talk more about that. But then afterwards, after the cows left, we went and seeded the rest of it. We seeded the whole spot. And then you can come in here with a brush hog, and you brush hog over the hay, and you spread it out, sling it all out. If you don't have a brush hog, you can use a riding mower. You want to go slow and not, you don't want to tear up your riding mower, but you can go slow. And you can get in here with a pitchfork and spread it all out with a pitchfork. Now that's a lot harder, but you can do that, and that does work. Brush hog works really, really well and gets it done really nice, knocks it all down, spreads it all out, and does a pretty good job. So we're going to try it out. I know where I unrolled the hay at, so we're going to see if there's more seeds underneath where the bale was initially unrolled, if there's more germination, or if the germination is even, and we may find out that the germination is worthless and we've got nothing. Whatever we get from it, I will try to do another video to show y'all the results of it. The hay in itself, and I've done quite a few videos on clay, on making clay soil into good soil. So we know that the hay in itself, putting hay, if you watch those other videos, the hay can create really good optimal soil even out of clay. And why is because of you're putting down the carbon, but you're also feeding your microorganisms. By doing all of that, you got root exudates, you're helping with all kinds of stuff. But then if we can germinate the new seeds, then we're bringing it to the next level. It's like those other videos that I talked about, but the next level, okay? I don't know if y'all can see, I doubt you can see it. There's a red bird flying over there. I'm not sure what you call those, I can't remember. But those actually really like to eat seeds and fruits. There's a lot of them right now flying around, so they're probably eating some of the seed that I put down. But I'm not too unhappy about that, and I'll tell you why. Last year when we broadcasted all of that seed down, there was birds everywhere coming through eating all of my seed. Well, I tried not to get too worked up and worried about it. The next year came along, I saw no reduction in the seeds that I put out. I saw absolute beautiful germination. It's like it never even hurt anything that those birds were out there. But then I saw the benefit. The benefit was the other half of my property that I had not seeded anything. I have a large portion of clovers and all kinds of stuff that's coming up, stuff that I've never planted coming up in the other half. And I think it's from the birds. That's the only thing I can come up with. I don't know for sure. All I know is the birds definitely didn't hurt anything. But I do think it's crazy, and I'm really wondering if it's those birds. They were eating some of that seed. I'm sure they didn't, they probably consumed a lot of it, just, actually processed in their body and was worthless seed. But I really wonder if a lot of it actually went through their body and they went to other places of my property and passed that seed. And there's quite a bit of clover coming up and other forages coming up in other places that I know good and well I never seeded. So anyway, definitely excited about that. But I'm excited about this, guys. I don't want to drag out this video too long. I just wanted to talk about that. When you unroll hay, hay is not always waste, okay? It's not waste. When you unroll that hay, you definitely want to unroll it, okay? But that hay acts as fertility for your property. Like, you can literally see, I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. There's a video I made 2 years ago about where I unrolled hay, and there's an obvious line running down where the bale was unrolled. It was just greener and better grass. Well, then a year later, it was still greener and better. Well, this year I went back over there, and it's not much better, but there's still a visual difference. So it's like I got 2 full years of better fertility just out of that one spot where I unrolled hay. So if you want to get more bang for your buck when it comes to your hay, unroll your hay, spread it all out. They'll eat more of it by doing that than if it's in a hay ring. They'll waste less of it. They'll spread their fertility rather than putting it all in one spot. But also the hay itself offers fertility. Now, I can't prove that the hay is offering fertility. I'm sure if somebody did the right study, they'd be able to prove that. I can't prove it. All I can do is show you my experiences, and then there's all kinds of other people doing it online too. You can see their videos. There are so many things out there where people unroll hay, spread it out like this, and the hay itself offers you fertility. And that's how you can get more bang for your buck with your hay, because now you're feeding your cows, but then you're also giving fertility that lasts for several years. It's acting as nitrogen in the soil because of the worms that's coming up and eating it. Those worms are eating that grass, and there's all sorts of other biology going on too. But the worms in themselves, the earthworms, they're putting out a wonderful nitrogen when they poop. But also, that worm casting has a pH of 7. It's a neutral pH. When you get a neutral pH, you open up the perfect environment for clover to come up. And that's why everywhere I unroll bales, even if I don't seed hay, clover comes up by itself. It starts coming up right there. And I think it's because of the worm casting neutralizing the soil there and allowing the clover to start coming up better and better and better. I don't know that for sure. I can't prove all of that. But a lot of that's just coming from my own anecdotal experience in that. But I know for a fact that it definitely will increase the value overall by spreading your hay and doing that. But as far as the whole seed thing, putting the seeds underneath, I think that's just another level. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that. And I think if I come in here after with chickens and put them over all this. Once I'm talking about once the seeds grow up and the all of the clover will die off by then, but all of the sunflower being fully mature, you come in, you graze it once with the cows. You don't let them take near all of it, but you trample a lot of it down on the ground. Then you come behind that with chickens. And I think that right there, because you're feeding your chickens with the sunflower seeds, but you're also increasing the nutrition like crazy and the nitrogen like crazy. Anyway, I'm going to quit dragging that out. Those are other videos that I'll be putting out, posting all of it, whether it worked, whether it didn't. I'll probably even put a comment on this video itself later on down the road. But that in itself, the unrolling of the hay and the spreading it out will definitely save you money, but not only save you money, but it will make you money, and you will reap dividends from that. So anyway, guys, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching this long.